Cool. So, terrible sales. So I'm sure we've all been there where you've had the chance to be on a Zoom call or a networking meeting or wherever, and there's a sponsor, and that sponsor basically has the opportunity, to kind of pitch their product or service. And, truth be told, at the Startup Grind X event last night, I got the chance to do that as well for the roadmap. But there's good ways to do it and there's bad ways to do it. One of the things that I saw, and this is true almost, if you put yourself as a person, I think people often forget that when they present, it's imagining that there are people sat there in person watching your stuff. And it's when people are just really arrogant about, imagine you're talking to someone and you're on a first date and you're like, I'm the best, I have this much money in the bank, I have these many clients, I drive this car, this is my career history, look how good I am, da, da, da. You're going to think they're a prick. You're going to absolutely hate and despise that guy or girl, because actually it's not a very nice way to do it. It's not great sales. It's not a great way to build relationships. And I think one of the things that people often forget is that actually they don't really think about the audience. They don't treat people as real people. And they don't really think about what is it that they want to get across. So the first one as well is when people have no humility. Yes, you might have a great product or service, and yes, you can almost tell people about it, but don't go on too much about what your market cap is and how big the deals are and stuff. Relate it to the audience. Otherwise, last thing you want to do is lose the audience. And I must say, there's nothing worse. And the one that I was on was a networking event. There's probably 80 people on the call. It was an accountancy practice, had kind of sponsored it. And when they were talking about all these great deals that they'd done and stuff, the one thing that really got me was that they were almost treating it as if it was like a sport. So, we did this, and then if we can't find a buyer, we'll just sell it to someone else. But the thing that got me in the audience was almost the fact that, but that's someone's business. That is someone, they put their heart and soul into that. And it just kind of lost me that almost it was the kind of braggy nature that you might see guys do down the pub or whatever. But actually, it's not great. So it's not great sales. But the one thing that you want to do, so you don't want to do that. What you do want to do you really want to highlight the pain points that you solve. So in the process of doing your pitch or whichever, say, look, we offer, I'll say the business skills. So the Roadmap MBA offers real world business skills to people that want to develop their business or career and actually don't have the time, money, cash, or access to do the other methods which are also available. That's one way you could pitch it. But the idea is the more you can actually identify and articulate the pain point that you solve and how you solve it, what that does, it communicates to the audience on the end of the call if they fall into that box or they don't. And I think it's really important that, for instance, if you are, I'm trying to think of a good example, I'll take a McDonald's. McDonald's offer convenient food where you know what you're going to get. Yes, it's not the healthiest, but actually it's almost kind of comfort food and it's, whatever. But they know what that is and they just own it and they embrace it with their material, that they make that relevant to their audience, which is different to other places. But actually, you really want to know what the pain point is that you solve and really kind of get that out there. The next one, you really want to go, if you can, articulate who your product or service is for. Again, everyone has a niche that they have a key target audience who are perfect to buy what they need to sell. I'm going to think back to a previous guest, which was Tim Ward on Opportunity, who they help people bid on public sector tenders. So he is for SME companies or companies of any size that want to bid on public sector tenders, but don't have the time or resource to either employ a bid writer full time. Yeah, pretty much that's it. But through saying that as part of their pitch, what it does, if you're in the audience and you're like, actually, I'd like to bid on more public sector tenders and I don't really have time to trawl through all these websites. What he's done is make the audience think, yeah, my product or service is relevant to this. But actually, it's these kind of things just kind of add up. My water bottle is in the way. The next thing you want to do is demonstrate knowledge. So something we talk about in the course is the desire to be seen as an authority or an expert on a topic. Going back to the accountancy example, it's fine for the guy to just say, yeah, we did these 27 deals and they were worth £100 million and it was great and we made all this money and made people rich. But that doesn't actually win you over or give you confidence that this person is an expert. If they talk about the detail and build confidence and demonstrate that they are an authority and an expert on deals and how they're done and how to get value to the buyer and how to maximize value and how to make the process quicker and less painful and stuff, that is how you really kind of win over your audience. But actually the other thing that you want to do, I'm going to switch pens. You want to always have a call to action. That almost anything that you do in terms of a live stream or whichever, it's the ability to say, actually, look, this is the web address. If you want to get in touch, my name's Steve. I have it scroll across constantly in every interview. Actually, no, I don't do it in the interviews, but I do it for live streams, just about the socials and stuff. But the idea is that you just have the ways that people can get in touch with you, or for instance, when it pops up in someone's feed, but you always want to include a call to action. And then last but not least, you just want to add value. The single best way to help win someone over, if you have an audience that actually, last night's event on blockchain, the more you can kind of just show knowledge on a topic, but actually give people value and show them what they want to know and learn, it will really help win them over. So for instance, I took two things. One was actually using there's a Star Wars analogy from that same Resonate book where how everyone has their own hero's journey. So I took the whole Luke Skywalker, basically first Star Wars film, and analogized it to startup founders and the challenges that they faced. So I did 2 minutes on that, then actually went through the 3 main things which a lot of startup founders get wrong to really focus on. But the idea was within that 5 minutes was to add value, to make these people think, actually, have we thought about the strategy about what we do? Is it as good as it could be? And then likewise to also think, if you want your startup or business to be successful, often the founder or the CEO or whoever is very knowledgeable on stuff. So they might not need training, but what about their team, which actually drives the main core of the business? And then last but not least, about executing. So it's almost having the confidence that, for me, yes, you can go on a great sales training thing for one day, but actually you want the 12 months of support. It's the ability to react and interact with people just to get that repetition. And also when things don't work, you can ask questions and stuff. That actually it's then how you execute against your plan and the 3 things that people get wrong. But the idea was just to demonstrate that actually these are things to consider. If you'd like to find out more, this is how you can do it. And it was just a different way to pitch your product or service, that you don't actually have to brag that you're in so many countries and you have so many million users and your market cap is this and you're valued at that. And it's just a different way to kind of build relationships. And for me personally, because it is kind of just me doing this, is that, I try and give this honest approach that every week, twice a week, I kind of put myself out there, that it is for some people, it's not for others. And I just kind of do my best. But again, just as a way to build your sales pitch, these are things to think about. So you really want to show humility in what you do. Demonstrate the pain point. Actually, just identify what it is and how you solve it for a customer. Who is your ideal dream customer that people want to buy your product or service? And that just means that anyone in the audience that falls into that gap will listen more, because you've said, actually, say for me, it's probably people from 22 to 40 who want to develop their businesses or careers, but they can't afford a traditional course and they just want to make that next step and have confidence in what they do. That's kind of who I aim for. Although I might sell to a lot of business owners who are, outside of that demographic, they largely would buy it to train up their team and not for themselves. But this is all just part of your own kind of journey.